How you do, guys? It's Rusty. I'm a reseller. That means I buy stuff and then I sell it for more than I bought it for. Easy peasy. That's how I make my living. Today we're going to talk about a category that you may not know much about, or maybe you've never really seen out in the wild, but maybe you'll look for it now. That would be rough mineral specimens from various places, mines in the United States or possibly outside of the country. I've found some stuff I'm going to show you today at my local Goodwill. We've got lots of videos on types, categories like this, rocks, minerals, and various types of antiques and collectibles. We've got them in playlists on the channel. Go check them out if you get a chance. Without further ado, let's hit this. How to, folks? Here we are. I'm going to show you a few things that I got today. And I just want you to know that if you ever come across rough specimens of different rocks or minerals, this also applies to things like fossils or possibly Native American artifacts and things. There is a collector base out there. And so today at the Goodwill, you really never know what you're going to find at the Goodwill. I came across these 3 bags, and I'm going to show you some other stuff here. But I just wanted to highlight this category. It's one in which a lot of people don't know about, don't care about, wouldn't think that these could bring some value. But just like anything, you need to do your research. Each of these bags, as you can see, cost me $5. This bag is marked as Apache Tears. Thomas Mountain, Utah. So Apache Tears is a moniker for a particular type of stone. And what that is, as I'll show you here, these are spherical a lot of times, and these are kind of tumbled. But what they are, guys, if you know anything about minerals, you may already know what this is. There's 2 types of black stone that are pretty common that are this black color. One is onyx, the other is obsidian, and that's what this is. These are round formations of obsidian, obsidian being of volcanic rock origins. And so these apparently came from Utah. You can see some of these have broken up, and if I rub my finger on them, they kind of shine a little bit. You can see that in the light, kind of shimmer. If these were to be polished, sanded down, or tumbled, they'd be much smoother and they'd be much brighter. But you can see these are in rough condition. I paid $5. I have not added these up yet, guys, but my guess is there's somewhere between 15 and 20 of these. And so even if I just listed these online for $1 a piece, that's 20 bucks, and I only paid $5 for this. I will probably list these individually, or I may just throw them up for 20 bucks as a lot. I would weigh them. You would want to know the weight. The person would want to know the weight in grams, unless it's so much that your little gram scale wouldn't pick up, in which case you'd put it on a scale and say how many pounds it was. It would be a good idea for me to give an example of one like this. This is larger, fully round and rough, and then a picture of one like this that's kind of cracked open a little bit so that the viewer can see what this would be really like on the inside. This would be interesting to a few different collectors. One would be someone who just collects rough specimens of minerals and rocks. Another collector might be someone who, or another potential buyer rather, might be either an amateur or a professional who makes jewelry. And so you can there's saws out there with blades that are made to cut through stone and minerals that are hard. Kind of like if you've ever seen one of those that cuts tile. Same type of thing, but it will cut right through one of these stones. And it will require some more polishing, more grinding with finer and finer grits in order to get that shine. But they could cut these into little slabs, or they could even cut around and put these into jewelry of various sizes. Over here we've got what is labeled as Garnet from Little Pine, North Carolina. I am in North Carolina. I'm in western North Carolina, so it's not surprising to find something from this state. Let's see what we got here. Sort of the same situation. It looks like this is fewer specimens. A lot of them are smaller. However, the big ones are quite heavy. And so as you turn around, you can see that this color right here mineral on the outside here is not actually garnet, but you can start to see some of these shapes with how this crystalline structure forms, and then I can tell right here is garnet. Now this would be very opaque, and it's quite heavy, guys. Very, very heavy, heavier than you would think for its size. We've got several of these, and you got kind of see some of these flat surfaces, and even though they're rough, they still glimmer a little bit in the light. these flat surfaces here. That's in the weight are two of the reasons why the person who picked this up knew it was more than just a common rock. All right, you can see a little bit of that glint in there. That's that crystalline structure of how this thing is formed. You can see it on the outside there too. So I would want, again, with this type of thing, if I were selling it individually, I'd want to get several different angle shots on this. Ones where you can see that the luster there from the light reflecting on that surface. That's a perfect one right there. And then I would, again, want to weigh it. Preferably, I could show them a picture of it on the scale and showing what the scale is reading. And there are people who want to collect different types. Not just the mineral itself, guys, but maybe from a specific location, like Little Pine, or a particular mine. There are a lot of people who collect stuff from specific mines. And, there's a lot of these mines out here that are no longer, they are decommissioned, defunct. They are not currently being mined. And so if for certain places, especially if it's a high quality mineral or gemstone that comes from that mine, people, the demand goes up because it's rare to get because they're not being mined anymore. So do your research, look up, if you have a particular material, like a common one with a lot of mines that are not being mined anymore would be maybe turquoise. So if you looked up turquoise mine, look at sold items there and see which mines tend to be the ones that you're seeing the most sales from, and there you go. That'll kind of show you what the demand is on any. The last one I picked up here, again, all of these were $5 a piece. Opal, I don't know if that says Gerlach, Nevada, and it says 2005. So it's been a while since this was grabbed. We're in 2021 right now. So 16 years, Royal Peacock, and maybe that's the word, the term to refer to this particular type of mineral or this opal here. You can see some of these are broken up, showing this very bright white color. And I need to examine some of these to see if I get many flashes of color. You can see that's really cool right there, where that's kind of cracked apart. But then you got these larger pieces here. And as I move around, you can see all these specks here, all these little spots here of this opal that's forming in that. I don't think I'm going to have anything that has real incredible color, although maybe. Look, I mean, it's just like chalk. It's so white, bright white. Again, I could sell these in individual specimens, or I could put them all up in a lot together since they all come from the same place. I love that they have stuff written on here because that arms me with information. And guys, the more information, this is not always true, but a lot of times the more information you can give, the better it will sell, and or at the very least, the less likely you'll get an upset customer or a return, because they'll have as much information as they can have, and they'll have a better idea of what they're getting into when they buy it. Last up here, folks, I got these two tubs, and I have been, you can call me lazy, you can just call me distracted, whatever, but I have not listed these yet, and I've had these for about 6 months. I have gone through and sorted them, bagged them up in case I wanted to sell them individually or in groups. Haven't decided yet still how I'm going to do it, if I'm going to sell them in these little groups or if I'm going to actually put them up individually. But what you're looking at is what would be considered more of a rough cut of a variety of pieces of agate. Agate and or jasper, because some of these are much more opaque, but you can see even through this the brilliant colors. You got a variety of colors, some grays, some blues, some rust color, orange, yellows, and there's so many different types in here, guys. Look at this. When you get this thing wet, just the colors that explode out of this thing are really incredible. Here's one that's much darker. What I've done is I've weighed them all. This is 120.15 grams. This is 83 grams. Rough cut, slab cut. They just use one of those saws like I told you about. But I've got so many different kinds in here, so many different types. Some beautiful pieces that if you were just to cut around this in any kind of shape you wanted, you could put that as a pendant for a necklace. You could put that in a variety of types of jewelry if you wanted to. But there's some really cool colors. So I haven't decided yet how I want to sell these, what would be the best use of my time and the potential profit that I could get. But what you're looking at here, guys, there's so many pieces in here and in here. I paid $20 for all of these. I paid $5 a bag here. So everything I've shown you in this video cost me $35, and they all came different times, but these came from the same Goodwill as these, 6 months apart. So somebody, or maybe it's multiple people, are periodically dropping things off to donate to the Goodwill. And, you know, when Rusty's there and he sees them, he tries to pick stuff up. But I do use my phone. I do a bunch of research before I get stuff. And some of these that are like less distinct or less kind of interesting, I've bagged up in some larger weights. But you can even see a bunch in here I've not even bagged. Still some really, really cool colors here, guys. These pinks and greens. We got some of these kind of almost like mustard color with other things in here. But someone who makes jewelry, guys, someone who knows what they're doing would be very interested in some of this stuff. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, just because it's a rock or a mineral, or even if you see something you think, oh, well, I've just seen those in regular rock shops selling for a couple of bucks, it's not worth anything. Guys, don't, you know, the more you get into it, the more I would say you can trust your gut from time to time, but the more you do it, the more experience you'll have, and the more you'll know whether something might be valuable or not. And that, you know, that's just gorgeous, guys. Lots of people could be interested in this kind of thing, and anytime you can find an item that you know there's multiple types of buyers out there that would want it, that's kind of a milky, creamy color with some pinks in that. It's just all the better and all the more reason to take a risk on something. For $35, that's not much money, guys. I think that I can sell a few of these, make my money back fairly quickly, and then after that, I don't have to stress about selling them quickly. I can get my money back over time. Hopefully that helped you guys. Good luck hunting. Guys, thanks so much for sticking around and seeing this video. Hopefully that gave you an idea. Maybe you can go out and make a buck or two. Make sure to check out our playlist and subscribe if you haven't, if you get a chance. Here we're going to highlight this last piece here. It's real beautiful in that lot. This is some agate. It's semi-translucent, semi-opaque. But just look at the beautiful colors in that, guys. It's gorgeous. Don't pass that stuff by, because you could make a buck. Or maybe even two. Yes! Rusty, Rusty, Rusty how to. Rusty, Rusty, Rusty how to. Rusty.